Good afternoon and welcome to the 6th episode of the Sunday Spin. That's right. This is an opportunity for us as a community to reach out to those that have maybe been thinking about Panama, or those in the US or Canada or Europe that have just had it where they're at and they're looking for a more simplistic life somewhere out of where they're at right now. And as many of us expats down here in Panama have already come to find, we really love it here. So what better way than to express all of our feelings in different aspects? We're going to have 4 people on the show today from Boquete, Panama, that are going to talk about their experience of moving here, living here. Again, it's just about getting the information from the horse's mouth. It's just the best way for people to understand what it is like to live down here in Panama. Now, before I introduce my 4 guests, and we're going to have Leslie King on first this morning. How you doing, Leslie?
Good.
Really excited to talk to you. We have 3 other guests, and then at the end of the show, we're actually going to have Joanne Hatch on with Inside Panama Real Estate, and she's going to show us a few different listings and give people an idea of what to expect in the real estate market down here. If you're looking obviously at moving down to Panama, that's a great opportunity just to get an idea of what they have hot on the market right now. Now, one thing before we jump into this, obviously we want to thank our Powered by sponsor, which is Inside Panama Real Estate. Guys, they're doing an incredible program. It's called the Fly and Try. So what is the Fly and Try? Of course, when you want to move to a new location, it's great to get down and get a firsthand experience, get involved with the community, maybe come down, rent a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever you feel comfortable with. And what Inside Panama is doing, if you come down, rent, and they have a lot of great rental options, that if you do buy, eventually, they'll pay that first month's rent. They'll reimburse you on that first month's rent. And that's called the Fly and Try program. Really, really neat. If you want more details on that, email them at freeebook@ipreinfo.com. Speaking of free ebooks, they also have a free ebook. Super cool. A lot of people sell ebooks about Panama, and a lot of people have made them. And I have to say, this ebook is incredible. It's got so much information, just a world of information, and they're giving it away for free. It's got a $300 value on it. And again, it's yours for free. All you got to do is email them at freeebook@ipreinfo.com. Now, real quickly, because, one thing that I find very important, because obviously everybody on the show today has been to Boquete or lives in Boquete, and we know Boquete. But maybe some of those people out there watching have no idea what Panama is, where Panama is, and definitely have no idea where Boquete is. So I got a map here. I want to share a screen, and then I'm going to kind of give a brief introduction on what Boquete is with a few photos. So Leslie, I'm going to be right with you. I'm looking forward to asking you some questions. Let's do a screen share here, and we're going to go right here to the map. Now, as you can see, this is the map of Panama. Down here by the purple, this is the border of Colombia. There's no direct connection. There's no road. There's no real border here per se to cross into Colombia. Usually you have to go on a boat or an airplane, unless you're like some Indiana Jones and you're doing some incredible hiking. But there's no real border here. On the other side, you have Costa Rica that borders the west side of Panama. And that's actually where we're going to be at today. We're here in Boquete, which is just 45 minutes north of David, which is the 2nd largest city in Panama. Now, there's 2 ways to get to Boquete, of course. You can drive. All major airlines fly here into this Panama City Airport, PTY. And then you could drive over to Boquete at about 6.5-hour drive, or you can fly from Panama City to David. It's a 45-minute flight. And then again, it's a 45-minute drive up to Boquete. Now, again, I wanted to show you guys just a couple photos, give a brief introduction of what Boquete is, because some of you at home, like I said, if you have no idea about Panama, this is going to be a great little way for you to see what Boquete, Panama is all about. So here it is. Of course, I love photos of myself. Standing in front of the infamous, famous Boquete sign. This is at the top of the hill going down into the valley. Boquete reminds me, I'm a West Coast boy in the United States from Portland, Oregon, spent a lot of time down in California. Boquete reminds me of a more down-to-earth Napa Valley type place. Also, instead of wine, we have coffee. So we're going to talk about coffee in just a minute. But yeah, that's just kind of my perspective on how Boquete reveals to other people. One of the most famous things about Boquete is Volcan Baru. Volcan Baru is the highest point in Panama. And actually, our dear sponsor, Mike Vitovich, the owner of Inside Panama, and myself on the top. This is an incredible highlight of Panama because it's one of the only places in the world where you can see both the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean from one point. They're said to be two other spots, and they're also located in Panama. But if you're really looking for that adventure, that's one of the great things about Boquete is Volcan Baru. As I mentioned, coffee is an extreme benefit of Boquete. It's the king of coffee. And literally, just at the end of last year, 2019, Boquete, some geisha coffee that's grown in Boquete, was the highest selling coffee in the world. It sold to the Espresso Lab in Dubai for over $10,000 for a kilogram. And as you can see, beautiful coffee beans. There's just there's a cup of coffee with Volcan Brew in the background. You can see there's a river. You know, if you're a nature lover, you're really gonna love Boquete. It's just full of nature, birds, waterfalls, all kinds of beauty, and of course, coffee. If you love coffee, you will love Boquete. It's just the coffee capital of the world. For again, the most expensive coffee grown on the planet Earth at this time. Another thing I love so much about Boquete is the community. And one thing that the community does once a week, obviously outside of lockdown and all this coronavirus stuff going on, but one of the things they do once a week is a Tuesday market where all the community comes together. We're talking expats that are selling things or growing things or making things or baking things, Panamanians that have amazing arts and crafts. They all come together and we have this Tuesday market. I've actually got word that the Tuesday market is growing. There'll be another addition across the street. So this is really neat for the community. A great time for community members to come and get together, communicate, and have a good time. It's really neat. Neat place. Neat part about Boquete. Here is myself. Again, I love taking photos of myself. In front of a waterfall. I'm here with e-bikes. We're with an e-bike. We're actually going to be talking to a gentleman later on in the show. He's got the company, and it's just really neat. Again, there's so many activities like golf, whitewater rafting, hiking, bird watching. You can do mountain climbing. There's an awesome climbing rock. And then, of course, our festivals. Every year, we have an immense amount of different festivals. Some of the most popular ones are the Flower Festival. This photo was taken just before the Flower Festival in Boquete. And then we have the Boquete Jazz and Blues Festival, which, again, is probably one of the highlights of the year in Boquete. Amazing festival, tons of fun, great energy. So this is some of the things that you can expect when living in Boquete. You always have fun stuff going on, lots of live music, an amazing restaurant scene. This is a photo of Chris Young, one of the main and top chefs in Boquete. He's got a multiple variety of different restaurants. And, you know, the restaurant scene is just an amazing flavors, a lot of different variety. So if you're into good food, and that's an important element for you when moving, then you can definitely check out Boquete because it's awesome. Now, again, guys, that is Boquete. I love Boquete, but I think people that might even love Boquete a little bit more are going to be here to talk to you about their experiences. And my first guest today, that's right, Leslie King, longtime Boquete resident and business owner, a.k.a. the Queen Bee of Boquete, everyone's go-to gal. How are you doing today, Leslie?
I'm doing great. Doing real good.
Oh, my goodness. I'm so glad to see your face. And you look like different than me. You look like you're losing weight, and I'm over here trying to fit in all my shirts, and I just don't know what's going on.
Well, I had been, but, you know, everybody's kind of stuck at home lately, so all this baking I'm doing is not good.
Yeah, you and me both. Well, I have others baking for me, but I'm trying. I'm practicing a lot more now.
Good.
So yeah, it's something to do. Now tell us, how did you come to living in Boquete, Panama? And give us a little background about yourself.
Well, I'm from Arkansas, in case you couldn't tell. Born and raised. My folks actually moved down here to retire. So my dad had done tons and tons and tons of research. My son, I have a son. He came with me. We came down to kind of check things out and fell in love and didn't want to leave. So here we
Here
are,
you are.
years later.
Yeah. And now tell me, obviously you've been involved or started an array of different businesses. Tell us a little bit about like what people can expect or and do as a business here in Boquete.
Well, for me, my business, I've had three. I still have one, and I own some property that I rent out for other business. The business climate here in Boquete has been good. It's steadily on the climb since I moved here 10 years ago. Um, we lots of things to do, lots of new things coming in, lots of really good ideas from people that I see saying, hey, as soon as we can, get down there, we're going to open this type of business or we're going to open that kind. I would encourage anyone. I never had any difficulty with business here. It was always a really good experience for me. In fact, um, probably too good because they would keep me so busy I didn't have time for much else. So, but that's a good thing. It's a good
That's a
thing.
good thing, but a bad thing. There's balance, of
It
course.
is. It is. Yes, one of the first businesses that I had here was we built Panama at the time, Panama's only roller skating rink. So we built that. My son was young at the time. We just first moved here and needed something to do for kind of some tweens, I guess they're called, in between, the fun age and over the other not so fun age. So we built a skating rink. It was great. I mean, it just went over gangbusters. That was one of the ones that it was a 24/7 job. We now have I still own the building, but we now have a nice big fitness gym in it. So
Yeah, and that's a beautiful gym. So
it's a
it's
nice.
cool. You were able to experience that business. I remember a lot of people talked about it. It was an amazing element to the
Thank
area.
you. Yeah, it was
Um,
really good.
but it's also good to use that great space for a gym. I mean,
Yes.
that gym is incredible. It's a brand new gym. So it's nice to
Nice.
see things involved. That's very
Yes.
cool.
Yes.
So now you are a woman, I'm a man. So obviously I know about some of the man things going around in Boquete, cigar smoking, live music, playing golf, playing pool, all that jazzy
It's
jazz.
good for us women too, but yeah.
Yeah, of course. Of course. But I do know and I do see on Facebook that you girls in Boquete are always having a good time. You're
We are
getting
busy.
together.
We
Tell
are
us a little
busy.
bit about that. What are the kind of the activities that you like to do together?
Well, if you're an exercise person, even if you're not an exercise person, if you just want to start, you can start a beginner into big time. There are a tremendous amount of exercise classes here. Yoga, CrossFit for CrossFit people, all kinds of stuff. We do that pretty regularly. I have a couple of gals. We go down at least once a week to a local area that has a nice swimming pool. The bar's really nice. So we enjoy sun. We hike. I'm constantly out hiking. There's a lot of things for women to do here. If you're more into pampering yourself, we have some excellent services here. I mean, they'll even come to your home. How often can you sit at home in your PJs and they come to you to do your nails and your hair and massage, and so there's a lot to do. I mean, a lot, and that keeps expanding as well.
Yeah, that's great. And there are a lot of amazing services like you talked about.
Yes.
Now, one thing I'd like to know is, as someone, I frequent Boquete quite a bit, but I don't live there. Um, what are some of your favorite things about living in Boquete and some of your least favorite things about living in Boquete?
I really think the main thing for us is obviously we love the climate here. There's no other climate anywhere that I've ever been. And I've traveled quite a bit, other countries and all around the United States. We have the best climate. No joke. It is just absolutely wonderful all the time. Um, there are a lot. I really like it's growing and growing and growing, but I love the small town feel that this place has. I grew up in a small town. Um, you can go anywhere here, restaurant, the hardware stores, anywhere, and you're going to see a smiling face. If you don't speak Spanish that well, that's okay. Boom.
And if you like
Somebody
thunder and lightning, there you go.
like it. It's rainy season, folks. Yeah. There's everybody is so genuinely helpful here. I mean, it's really amazing. Anything people are just willing to jump right in and help. It's a big sense of community here, and I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I think probably I really honestly there's nothing I don't like about this place. There's not. I think the downside is what you just witnessed. The rainy season here, and that's never the same. Honestly, after 10 years of living here, I could say, oh, it's totally different than it was last year, but it is. It's different every time. Sometimes we have lightning, sometimes we have storming. I mean, but we need it. I mean, we need.
Well, and for me, being from Portland, Oregon, like you say rain, and I think like the devil. Like it's cold, it's miserable. At least in Boquete or elsewhere in Panama, yes, we get our rain. I find it to be a lot more romantic. I find it to be a lot more comfortable. Like if I go out and I get my shoes wet, it's not like my toes are gonna break off.
No.
So it's a different rain. But yeah, I get it. Like you can't be sitting on the beach every day in rainy season. Another cool thing though is, and I don't know if it's different in Boquete. I think you guys probably get a little bit more participation, but here in the city, when it rains, it's usually between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. and it maybe lasts 10 minutes, it maybe lasts an hour, but the rest of the time it's sunny and the birds are tweeting. And again, we need it. We're in the rainforest. We need that rain.
Exactly. And sometimes it's funny. It will just rain so hard for, like you said, 30 minutes or so, and I'm like, holy cow, that's a lot of water. 10 minutes, it's gone. I mean, we're amazed. We're like, where did it go? I mean, it's never flooding. I mean, it's great. It's great. That's the downside, and I can deal with that. So,
of course, that's an easy one.
Exactly.
It's a lot better than writing or craziness like we see in the U.S. That's for sure. Like people always ask me, like, how's the lockdown? I'm like, I mean, we're taking more precautions. I get it. It seems like most people are on the same page with that. Right. Do I want to be locked in my home? No, but I understand it. And again, I'll trade it fist over hand for what I see going on back in Portland, Oregon. Like my dad's like, man, that's 10 minutes from our house. It's crazy.
Exactly.
All this insane stuff.
We've been worried about, like I said, when we moved down here, we haven't looked back. I mean, we never regretted it for a second. It was really the best move we ever made. In fact, especially in terms of my son, who's now 22, but when we moved here, he was 12. The only thing I wish we would have moved here sooner with him. I mean, that kids play outside, they do all of that kind of thing. We've been so concerned about our family members that are still in the United States and friends that we have that are still in the United States. I wish they could all get down. I mean, they could come stay at my house. I mean, I just would rather them be here. We're so safe.
I got lots of friends asking, hey, can I sleep on your couch while I'm looking?
I know. Yeah. And we're like, okay. I mean, come on. We feel safe here. We're taken care of here. We can grow things in the yard here. And most people can't do that. I mean, it's really great.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I thank you so much for your time today. It's always a pleasure to see your smiling face. Wish I could be doing it more often in person right now, but again, it is what it is. And
say hi to the wife and baby.
I will. Well, he's not a baby so much anymore. He's 5, going on 15.
Talk to me about it when he's 22. So
patience. But thank you, Leslie. I really appreciate it, guys. We're going to be bringing on Vincent with Soul Planet Cycles here in just a second. Again, thank you, Leslie.
Thanks, Austin.
Wishing you a beautiful day. Ciao.
You too.
Hello, Vincent. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
It's great to see you. Hey, did you happen to see at the beginning of the program, I had myself with my awesome, sexy e-bike that you guys provide up in front of the waterfall?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I was pretty excited about that. I thought I had to throw that in there. It is one of my favorite activities in Boquete. which we're going to get to in just a minute. But before we do, let's talk to the people. I like people. Again, this whole show is about allowing others like ourselves that are expats from the United States that said, heck with this. We want the easier lifestyle. We want beautiful beaches. We want 500 islands. We want tons of birds, like-minded, fun people. We came to Panama. And here we are. We're living in Panama. But where are you from and what brought you to Boquete?
Well, I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, and I was working in the high-tech industry there in Burlington, Mass, and then I had the opportunity to come visit Panama, and that was way back like in 2004. And I came down on my first trip down. I bought 2 lots, so 2 houses.
Well, you know,
So
it's like you hear that so often. You know,
Yeah.
people say, I got off the plane, I called my family, shipped my stuff down.
True. I mean, it's a good place to get away from stuff. It's a different lifestyle down here. It's more laid back, definitely. So I found it to be very amenable for me. So I bought 2 lots in a development here in a gated community called Lucero that's got an 18-hole championship golf course. And I just got off the golf course this morning.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because I'm not a great golfer. I know you're probably like a Tiger Woods and all that, but tell me about the golf in Boquete. Are you golfing every day?
You can if you want to. So there's 2 golf courses in Boquete. There's a par 3 course at Valle Escondido, which is another development here in Boquete, close to the center of town. And that's kind of like an executive course. So there's just a couple of short par 4s, and the rest are pretty much all par 3s. And you do the circuit twice. So one time you play from like the white tees. Second time around you play from the blue tees. It is pretty challenging. It's a pretty technical course. It's target golf. If you don't make the green on your first shot, you are challenged. And then the other course is Lucero. It's an 18-hole championship course. It's pretty tough. I tell you, the slope rating from the white tees, which are like the middle tees, there's 4 sets of tees: black, blue, white, yellow, and red. And it's a 142 slope rating from the whites. So if anybody wants a challenge on a golf course, Lucero's got it.
So yeah, 2 challenging golf courses. So
Yes.
if you're like me and you suck at golf, you might not want to go to Boquete.
Bring lots of golf balls.
Yeah. Because that's one of the things too about golfing. You know, I know Valle Escondido is gorgeous, just because of the surrounding homes and the way they put all the plants and all the agriculture. But then you have up at Lucero where you're living, you have your homes. I mean, the views up there are just incredible, huh?
Yeah, they are spectacular. And, people have said once they've come up here and golfed that the views from the golf course are some of the best they've seen in the world. And this is like people that have golfed all over the world. So that's quite a compliment.
Of course, of course. Now, you came down to Panama, you came to retire, call it quits, and now you got Soul Planet Cycles. Oh.
The generator should kick on in a minute. Yeah, so
well, that's awesome.
I came down and, I came down in 2005. I've been here kind of like full-time since 2008. And just kind of like to break up the routine a little bit, I decided to start an e-bike company, which I thought would be a good fit for Boquete because the surrounding area in Boquete is very hilly terrain. So a lot of people really can't ride regular bikes on the hills here. So an e-bike really helps out.
Oh my God, it's a world of difference. Let me tell you, when I
difference.
rode up with your guys up to the waterfall, there was no way. And I'm a biker. I used to be a biker. I rode a bike from Canada to Mexico one time. I like biking, but not anymore.
No.
And those hills are like up and down. And when you have that e-bike, it's a complete different experience. I mean, I couldn't do it without your guys' bikes. And I like your guided tours, and you guys have all kinds of different, elements that you can take people on.
So we offer rentals if you just want to take the bike out on your own, and we provide you with a map and some of the sites to see in the area. And then we also offer guided tours. And to be honest with you, most people that are not familiar with the area want to do the guided tours. They want somebody to take them around and show them the site. So we do take groups out, and we've had some great reviews. You can see us on TripAdvisor. And the e-bikes, we found that people like yourself that used to bike a lot when they were younger and such, we have a lot of clientele that's in their mid-50s to late 60s. And the e-bikes really help out. They're able to ride a bike again on hilly
Even of
terrains.
us 38-year-olds too.
Right. No, we get young people too, but I'm saying a lot of the clients that we have are middle-aged to older, and they enjoy the e-biking in Boquete.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
Now, before, and again, I thank you for coming on, taking time out of your beautiful Sunday. One last question for you, because it's a big one. And you know, I've hung out with you quite a few times in Boquete. A lot of those times are surrounded with live music. Tell me about the live music scene in Boquete.
Well, there's quite a bit of live music in Boquete. There's a brew pub called Boquete Brewing Company, and they have live musics Thursdays, Fridays, Saturday, and Sunday, usually starting at around 8:30 p.m. and ending probably around 12. And then there's also live music at Mike's Global Grill.
I really like that too.
Music, yeah, and there's live music at sometimes at Big Daddy's, also has live music.
Uh-oh. Did we lose you there? Looks like we might have lost Vinny there, but hey, that was a great conversation. Definitely appreciate you, Vinny. We're going to jump over to Dr. Daniel Davies here to talk to us about my good friend. Tell me about yourself. We're going to talk about vegetables and growing food, but before we do, I want to get to know you a little bit more. I know you quite well, but hey, I could probably always learn a thing or two. And of course, people out there like yourself, like myself, that came down to Panama and just started doing stuff. So tell us, where are you from and how do you choose Boquete as your place?
Well, it's sure good to be here on the program. Thanks for having me. Well, awesome. I love this whole format, everything that you're doing. So exciting. Hey, we started in Dallas, Texas, and about almost 10 years ago, we decided to make the jump. We've always been involved in business and in feeding the poor off the profits from business. And so we've always had juggled two different things. But back in the early 2000s, we realized in order to really keep feeding the poor, we couldn't depend on big corporate donations any longer, big semi-truckloads of food coming in. We were going to have to start growing it ourselves. Now, I've never been a farmer in my life, but we decided, down in Central America, there's a 12-month growing season. You can grow some inside a greenhouse, some outdoors, but you can grow all year long, and it really drew our attention. So we made the jump down here and started learning about farming, how to do it, and eventually we bought a farm, built 6,000 meters of greenhouse. We call that a very small monster. So 6,000 meters, almost an acre and a half of greenhouse. So it takes a lot of employees to keep that thing running, but it also cranks out a lot of food. So we've learned what we're good at growing and what we're not good at growing, and we do a few different things. We grow superfoods. We have a dehydration center on the farm. We dehydrate it, turn it into powder, and then we give it out to widows and orphans and the extremely malnourished. And then we also grow super greens and we sell it, like at the BCP Boquete market. I think we were in the background of one of those photos with all the greens.
Yes, you were.
The very beginning
the pile of lettuces and beautiful.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
So we love kale, Swiss chard, mustard greens, collard greens, all those southern greens, and spinach and okra. We're the kings of spinach in this area, and that's just by chance. You may have heard before, when you get into Chiriquí, Panama, which Chiriquí, this is the food growing province for the whole nation. And I mean, it's cowboy country. If you ever wanted to feel a piece of Latin Texas, It's it right here at Cherokee. The guys are riding horses in the small towns, all wearing cowboy hats, and they're farmers and hard workers and pickup trucks with mud on them, you know. And I mean, we came from Dallas, so we felt like we were at home.
like that. I like that.
Yeah.
And I love seeing the guys and the gals, and there's a lot of gals that do it too, riding horses down the road. You can always see someone riding a horse down the road. And for me, it's those small things that like really matter. You know, when you're in a town, you see a horse riding by, you don't think like, oh, that's why I'm going to move to Boquete, but it's definitely an awesome additive, you know, the community, all the activities, you know, and then you have people like yourself. So with Global Food Provider, are you selling part of it? Are you making a profit on part of it? Does it all go to support communities?
Well, I'll tell you, it's very expensive to run a farm anywhere, and we found that, you know, in Panama it is also very expensive. A lot of farmers are really struggling. We've been able actually to help a lot of farmers just with some critical thinking and adjustments on how farming is done. But so we try to sell enough produce one day a week that will pay the employee salaries and keep the plastic fresh on top of the greenhouse. And then the rest of the week, we work hard to give it away. Even like right now during the Corona craziness, if a family in our community, which is just right beside Boquete, if they're in trouble, not working and need help, they just come to the farm and pick it, and it's free of charge. You know, that's just the way we are. We don't derive our income or salaries because we're just, you know, we have a different purpose of being here. Yeah. Well, it's a miracle that we get done anything. Again, I don't even know how to farm, so we're always learning, and it's a college education every day. But you know, I would like to encourage anyone, if you like organic living, you like to plant, garden, or if you just want to eat some of the freshest, craziest food, you try a tomato in Cherokee, Panama, you will be taken back 30 or 40 years back when you ate a tomato in your garden as a kid. You know, it tastes different. It's got different nutrition levels, and we really are. You kind of transport backwards to where, you know, times were different in the United States. Well, when you step out here in this area, that's how I feel. And even security and safety in my town, if I can just share this, when we were building our farm, I asked our farm manager, the Panamanian guys, I said, hey, listen, first thing, should we build a 6-foot fence around the farm with some barbed wire? And they said, why? And I said, well, you know, crime. And they said, no.
Crime?
No.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I was just asking. I come from Texas, and there's crime in Texas, you know. So about a year into our building, one of the guys came, and he was white as a ghost. He said, boss, we got to lock everything down. We got to chain it down, get everything in a container at night. You know, we've got a criminal on our hands in town. I said, you got to be kidding me. What happened? They said, well, yesterday someone stole an AM radio off the window of a lady's house in town. I said, they said, we're going to find him. We're going to find him. But until we do, we got to lock the thing down. And I thought, you know, I come from this little town in Texas, and we got 20 crimes a day going on. And this was the only one in the whole year, and the whole community went into action, you know. So I literally feel like I could park my truck, put the keys in the visor like we used to do in little towns in Kansas when I was growing up, and you'd be safe. Truck's safe there overnight. But the security, the backwoods, little small community feel is just here. And we love it.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, you mentioned safety, and ever since, and I'm a pretty big universal guy. I take a lot of feelings, just my general surroundings. And I remember walking up the plane the first time and just being like, wow, what? And then you go out into the community, and I started out in Coquete, which is in the middle of the country in a small town, helping gentlemen open a hotel. I was coming into the city on the weekends, and you know, whether you were out in the wilderness, in the small towns, or you're in the big hustle bustle city, because Panama City is like a little Chicago. I mean, it's a big booming city. And it's like, I've left cell phones in taxi cabs. And then, you know, 45 minutes later, before I even knew, because I was out having fun, you know, I'm getting the door guys calling me because the taxi cab driver came back to give me my phone. Like, what? You know, and I've had multiple. And of course, you know, there's little things here and there, but nothing like you would see back in the United States, you know? So definitely a big difference. Now, talk to us. We showed those pictures of you at the Tuesday market. That's the only day that you say that you sell any of your foods is during that market time then?
Typically, that market is closed as of right now, and they're just itching to get it open. As soon as the government gives the next go-ahead, it opens, and we'll be on Tuesdays. Until then, we have online ordering through the weekend, and then we have a 4-hour window where people can come get their food on Mondays, or we deliver to them. So that's our one day a week right now is Monday. Yeah.
Awesome. Very, very cool. Now, tell us about the restaurant scene in Boquete.
Well, the restaurant scene before COVID, this little hidden, sleepy mountain community called Boquete had, 60 some restaurants. A little flavor of anything you ever wanted was here in Boquete. And some of the freshest, craziest foods that and some of the greatest chefs. So you mentioned Chris, Chef Chris. This guy's amazing. The stuff that he puts together,
there's a lot of those guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. There really are. And so it's very creative here. Now you can order restaurant food right now to go, but we're all just at the gate. Everyone's getting pretty hungry. There's only so many ways to cook at home, and but we're all
especially if you cook like me.
Right, same here. So we're all ready to get that gate open, and we just wait for the government to say, okay, next phase go, and the next phase will be the reopening of the restaurants. So really hoping this whole phase comes to an end, everyone can get back to living normally. But the restaurant, you name your food, and it's here. Yeah. It's just amazing. And something that I haven't ever seen really in Boquete is there's none of the, like Subways or the licensed. That's all down in David if you want to go down there. But Boquete really has had, I think, a moratorium on that. So it's custom restaurants that, where someone that's got a niche, they open a restaurant and people flock to it. And if you're good, you stay. And there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good. Because
I like that too, that you don't find the McDonald's and the Burger Kings and the Subways. That what makes it such a cute little town. I mean, it's just the most adorable town. And the community's awesome. And I'm not just talking about the expat community, the Panamanians that are in Boquete. I have a lot of Panamanian friends there. And whenever I'm in town, I love the culture, the Panamanian culture. They're just such great human beings. They've been so welcoming to us expats as we come down and we share, this beautiful country with them. And they're so welcoming, because the U.S. used to be here with all the troops. And when, in 1999, when all the U.S. troops left, that was 50, 60,000 troops, there was just a void. And, Panama jumped into tourism and attracting expats that used to go to Costa Rica, but it just got way too expensive. It's like New York. And, now you're seeing a lot of those people come to Panama, which has way less prices. And I think, in my opinion, at least, a better quality of life, a lot more to do. You have the hustle bustle city. You have over 500 islands, 1,000 different birds, and there's just so much to do. Like, it's just incredible. Well, Daniel,
Austin, if you don't mind, I'll just say two things for people who may be thinking about coming over to Panama, specifically to Boquete. Panama City, when you get there, it's a feel of a big city, and it's gorgeous. It's awesome. I have a wonderful wife who we are the Green Acres couple. I'm like, Green Acres is the place for me, and my wife is I would rather be in Panama City, give me city life. And so we're always over there to fulfill her addiction to the city. And but when you come to Boquete, there's a couple things that happen. Almost every place in Boquete has English speaking. So if you're transplanting in and you're thinking, oh no, I'm moving to a Latin American Spanish culture, Spanish nation, you're going to find English. You can come in and make the transition very easily in Boquete. You'll also find that while in Panama City, if you're crossing the street, you'd better obey that traffic light, because the cars are whipping through. In Boquete, you might be ready to you might be ready to cross the street and look over, and the big truck stops and goes, come on through. I'll stop for you. And it's very relaxed. We've always appreciated that about Boquete. It's just a relaxed, safe, quiet, tranquil town. Love it.
Yeah. And I'm like your wife. I like the city, but I go back and forth. When I first started the Panama Good Times newspaper, I remember getting to Boquete and calling my wife, who was pregnant at the time. And I said, baby, pack the house. We're moving to Boquete. And then she said, okay. She was super excited. Then I got back to the city. And I remember that next Monday morning driving over the overpass into the city. And I said, I'm crazy. There's no way I'm leaving this beautiful, amazing, magical city. So I get the best of both worlds, with owning the newspaper and the magazine. I get to travel around the country. I really get to enjoy the different elements, but then always get to come back to my favorite part of Panama, which is the city. I do like the hustle and bustle, the beep beep, the sirens, the life, the big buildings. So I get it though. But that's what's great about Panama is that you can have. It's not like you got to fly to New York. You fly from David, which is 45 minutes down the hill from Boquete. You're in the city in 45 minutes, a 45-minute flight, or it's a 6.5-hour drive, depending on your driving skills or styles, and of course traffic. Little things that happen, but it's about 6.5-hour drive, so it's really close, and that's anywhere in Panama. If you're living in Boquete, you want to go down to Boca Chica or Pedasí or over to the Caribbean side of Bocas del Toro. You have a lot of capabilities of really freely moving around and getting different elements. So any little scratch you need your toes in the sand, you want to be sipping coffee in the mountains, you need a hustle bustle city. It's all here and it's all within such close proximity. So
well, Austin, I'd like to ask everyone, when you do come down and you get bored on we have days where volunteers come to our farm and they cut, slice, dice, harvest, and we dehydrate for widows and orphans and the poor. And so when you're bored, come on down. We have senior citizens and working class people come, and they just have the time of their lives in the mornings. And we all connect and have fun and talk while we're cutting and doing everything for the poor. And it's a blast. So we want to invite you all.
And it's a blessing. Yeah.
And you got to come to the farm too. Again, come down soon. Okay.
I will. And then tell our listeners, if they want to get in contact with you, maybe they're planning on coming to Boquete, or now they're planning to come to Boquete. If they want to get in touch with you, how do they get in touch with you?
Okay, well, first of all, my shameless plug for my book, Global Food Revolution, on Amazon. That will tell you everything we teach for pueblos around the world, how to grow food for the poor. And otherwise, globalfoodproviders.com. You can see everything we're doing. We're out there on Facebook as well, Global Food Providers. So love to see you. Would love to see you. I'm definitely coming. Boquete is like on my next stop whenever we can get out. Again, appreciate you taking your time this Sunday. Sure. Wishing you a beautiful day. God bless you. Everything that you do, it's very amazing and magical. And can't wait to see your face. Shake your hand again soon. Okay. Thank you, my friend. Great to see you. Have a great day. Ciao. Okay. And now, guys, we have Miss Joanne Hatch, a.k.a. the real estate goddess of Boquete. Yes, she is the #1 agent for Inside Panama Real Estate in Boquete. Joanne, how are you today?
I'm wonderful. How about yourself?
I can't complain. I have all these friends that I get to see on the Sunday spin every Sunday. I look forward. I hope I don't lose you because it's pouring rain, thundering, and lightning. So, all right. Well, let's get through this. I know other people that are watching have to get to their Sunday dinner plans or Sunday happy hours. Yes. But real quick, I want to ask you a few questions, and then Joanne's going to show us 3 different listings of what to expect when you're coming down or you're looking at Boquete, Panama. Again, remember, guys, if you have any questions on any of these listings, you want your free ebook, you just email free ebook at ipreinfo.com, and you can get all that information there. Joanne, tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to living in Boquete.
Well, I came here as a retired realtor from Canada. Excuse me, Windsor, Ontario, or Kingsville, Leamington area was my hometown. And my mother and I used to travel back and forth, to Costa Rica. And in 2007, I was really considering you know, like maybe winding things down and maybe looking at retirement in Costa Rica. And then, of course, I met a man in a bar, mind you, at the airport. And he said, no, don't do that. Don't move here. It's really expensive. The crime rate is rising. He says, there's this fabulous little town in Panama. And I'm like, where? Where's Panama?
That's just right next door.
I know. So he told me about this little town. And of course, I flew home that night. And as soon as I got home, I dropped my luggage and went on to Google. And I looked and I was like, oh my gosh. So we came down here in late 2007. And then I came back to Canada, and then I told my best friend, and she was like, oh my God, let's go. So a whole group of us came down, and of course, we fell in love with Boquete. And so my mom and I bought a lot and built a house, and then my best friend moved to Pedicey. And the other couple, they ended up staying in the States. So, anyway, 4 of us all came down and bought homes. So it was, and I haven't looked back. Like I've been here permanently since 2010, and I have not regretted one moment, not one moment.
And then how long have you been working with Inside Panama Real Estate?
I'm in my 4th year now. Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I've really enjoyed it. You know, living in Canada, again, it was probably the best job I ever had. But now that I'm in my retirement years, like I found that after going back to work, and of course I don't have that pressure. I don't have any of that. And it was just so nice to be able to go back to work. I'm having the time of my life. I'm having so much fun. It's great. Best job in the world.
I bet. And I see all your Facebook posts. It looks like you're having a wonderful
And
time.
meeting people from all over the world and just chatting, you know. And, you know, lately it's just been crazy considering we are in lockdown. It's been, I'm sorry, I had my phone on here as well in case the lights went out. Okay. Yeah. So, you know, since COVID has hit, you know, we were off to a roaring start at the beginning of the year. And of course, middle of March, we got shut down. And, you know, for a couple of months, you know, it's like everybody, we had to stay home and, you know, eating way too much.
Sounds like things are like really turning up. You know, I'm watching your Facebook. You got lots of new listings, lots of people acquiring. You're always posting stuff about that.
I've been taking online classes and, you know, upgrading and whatnot. But it was just starting in May. All of a sudden, you know, my website was getting a lot of traffic and getting emails, phone calls, and you know, a lot of folks are very concerned. I don't think my email has been this busy ever. With inquiries for people wanting to move.
Well, and that's why we're doing this show, you know, because like me, I had no idea about Panama. Like you were looking at Costa Rica. Then someone in a bar told you Panama. I just don't think enough people know about Panama and all the value. You know, if you are one of those people that now can work from home because of this whole COVID situation, you're living in Boston, you're living in Florida, New York, Houston, Seattle, Portland, wherever in the United States. And you said, man, I want to live on the beach. I want to live where there's great internet. They use the US dollar. Medical system's great. The safety is par none. I mean, gosh, when I see all this news, I'm like, what's going on up there in the north? You know, and it's like, you know, there's going to be a lot more opportunity. And that's, again, why we did this show, is to allow people that maybe haven't thought about Panama, or maybe those that have maybe considered Panama a little bit, just to get on the radar again and show them and let them hear others' experience like yourself. Now, I'm really excited because Joanne sent me these listings today for me to put together, and these homes are absolutely gorgeous. I'd love to jump into that, Joanne. Are you ready to show these homes and talk?
Ready to go. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Sure. Let's have a look.
All right, so we're gonna do that, and we got our first one here. I'm gonna hand the mic to you, Joanne.
Sure, thank you. Okay, this is a gorgeous home. It's located at Los Molinos. It's a very private gated community. This is an original owner, and of course, the person that owns this home, they're not leaving Panama. She's going to go into an apartment, and she wants to travel. She's been all over the world, especially loves doing African safaris. So yes, so that's why she wants to sell. but she's never going to leave Panama. But anyway, listed at $265,000. It's got 3 bedrooms, 3 full bathrooms, and it's about 1,800 square feet. And the lot is 1,317 square meters. This home is in absolute pristine condition. Not a hair out of place. It's a gorgeous listing. Yes.
Wow, it's so pretty.
Yeah.
So they have walk-in closets, and you said Los Molinos, right?
Los Molinos.
Wow, beautiful area. So yeah, anyone that's not out there,
about
this
10
is great.
minutes outside of Boquete. And that's south. Yes.
Wow.
Very
beautiful,
nice.
beautiful. And then we got this one.
This one here, this is one of my fave listings too. This is actually it's a small hobby farm. It's a coffee finca, and it's located up in Altoquio, where they have the richest soil. So I mean, all of the high-end coffee growers are up there. And the house is about 3,200 square feet. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and it's sitting on 2.3 acres. And of course, it comes fully equipped with, a greenhouse. And he sells a lot of his coffee. He's got a huge clientele. And of course, you can buy his coffee at Mort's Bakery as well. I mean, he's not making a huge living, but he makes enough to, support him, the family and run the farm and take a really nice vacation every year. So if somebody were just looking to do that, then, also, you could expand. That's no problem. But they've decided that it's just getting a little bit too much for them. So it'd be a perfect family home and a great opportunity to expand and to make some money.
Well, and the details in this home are just gorgeous. The rounded doorways, all these rock fireplaces. They got an indoor fireplace.
Well built. It was built by Prestige Homes. Beautiful.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, gee, okay. And then I think this is our third home. Yeah.
This is the third one. Yes, this is located up in Palo Alto in a very small community called The Springs. The most incredible views you've ever seen. Now, again, this home is very, very modern. It comes fully furnished. Okay, so it's turnkey.
Wow.
It's listed at $575. Yeah, designer everything, just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah,
Isn't
this is
beautiful
beautiful.
kitchen. Yeah. Oh, and the views, spectacular. Now this one here, his master bedroom is on the main floor. And of course, off the dining room there, you can see it's a little mini bar. And of course, it has the big, covered terrace overlooking the mountains. Just spectacular. Yeah, look at those mountains in the background.
I can wake up to that every day.
I couldn't have more pictures, but I've got them, on my website and,
of course,
e-magazines. But there's another bedroom on the lower level. And and then there's also a 1-bedroom apartment, self-contained apartment that they rent out. So it's got income coming in.
Well, yeah, and maybe if there was like a couple that was moving down with their family that also wanted to move their mom and dad down with them, they have this opportunity. Separate house,
2-car garage. I mean, it comes fully loaded.
Wow!
Like look at those views, just amazing.
I could do dinner there every night.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, wow.
We are ready to get them sold. All 3.
Of course. Those are beautiful, beautiful homes. And that's one thing too about Boquete is that
things. I have lots of, and I have new inventory coming up. I've got 3 to my knowledge. I've got a new one coming up in Jaramillo, and I've got a couple up in Alto Boquete, El Frances, some really nice properties. So it's, but again, we're considering we're in lockdown and there are people still in town that, may have taken a relocation tour and they had rented. So now they're ready to buy, and other agents are showing our properties, and we've had offers. In fact, I had an offer this week on a high-end home, and it was sight unseen. I'd never been to Panama. So
and I think we're going to see a lot of that too, with all the craziness going on north.
Absolutely. And as I said, it's very unfortunate, with the situation in the U.S.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks are moving down because of that particular situation. And as I feel, my heart goes out to the American people for their country. But it's good for us here. Yeah, it's a good thing here in Panama, and it's very safe, and it's easy to make friends, and English is widely spoken, and there's just some amazing, amazing people here. I love it. I can't ever see myself, and I'm Canadian. I don't ever want to see myself going back. I love it here.
Love it, Joanne. Well, thank you for sharing those listings. Again, guys, if you want the free ebook, more info, go ahead, email Inside Panama Real Estate at free ebook at ipreinfo.com. Mention Joanne. She can help you as well when you come down to Boquete. Yeah, you wanted to say something else, Joanne?
Yes. Also, I have my own Facebook page, and it's called Move to Boquete. So
Okay, great.
come over and have a look. You'll see a lot of my listings, or you can, contact me direct through there.
Awesome.
And I'm happy to answer any questions anyone may have.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for watching. We'll be back next Sunday for another episode, our 7th episode. I think we're going over back to the beach towns, which is Gorgona de Buenaventura. Guys, we'll see you next Sunday. Until then, ciao.
Ciao, baby. Have a wonderful